We come to you from State College, Pennsylvania for the annual Blue-White Penn State Spring Game from Beaver Stadium. A crowd filling in for a preview of a team that has big goals for 2024. Should be a fun one today. Bring it inside and knows the expectations that are around this program. They're big once again heading into 2024. Will be solo by himself back there, awaiting this kick. For the most part, we'll have a traditional spring game format today. Expect to see those two being used in tandem when the season rolls around, especially with the new OC. Andy Kotelnicki will dip into his philosophies that he brings over from Kansas throughout the course of the afternoon, with the flag being thrown here. And that's potentially go through some scenarios, always something to keep an eye on during spring games. Urbila's first quick throw is caught. Looks like Schlaffer.
Not as apt to be able to take off with his legs, but he can adapt as well. So I think that was an excellent hire.
Urbila's so shifty. Meanwhile, had him a good day for defensive guys like Matt Millen.
Yeah, I'll take that every time.
This kind of day.
Now, one of the things you remember, one of the last things that they had on the rules was there's no hitting the quarterbacks, just so you know. So if it looks like their offensive lines come together, because that's usually the toughest thing for any team to be able to get on the same page as your offensive lines.
That'll be a 3-and-out for
second team offensive line going against the first team defensive line, which we just saw in that first series.
Bit of a mishandle and blunder on the opening snap for Aller's unit.
So everybody just got to kind of calm down. It's your first time out. Just do what you've been doing all practice long for the first 2 weeks of practice.
Aller flips it out. This time has his first completion. Aller well protected that time and has another connection with Liam Clifford, who.
But he was able to make that throw with nice protection.
Goes right to Saunders, but he is promptly met. That's A.J. Harris.
Walked up now. Looks like they're going to play a little bit of man, so let's see what we got outside.
Another good test for those new corners. This time they're looking for the one-on-one matchup down the sideline and out of the reach of Saunders.
Actually, we did see pretty much of it when I think about what Manny ran.
Hole opens up for Wallace, tiptoeing down the sideline. We'll see if he has enough for the first down. Looks like he does to move the chains. You mentioned
big person.
Redshirt freshman in the backfield with Aller. Aller pressured, got it away, but pass intended for Saunders. Off the mark.
Presley to get after it this year.
Some deception on display that time, going up the middle. Talk about the defense.
Always will give you a fight. You had to work to beat them. They didn't quite have enough of the bullets in the gun to be able to make all the plays, but he has them here. So it'll be interesting to watch how Thompson.
He had James Franklin. He wanted to truly get to know everyone here, and now finds himself in a good spot. A great defensive mind. Trying to go over the seam that time, getting out of the hands of Saunders.
A lot of man coverage, and he's going to have some good guys to be able to work with on the outside, getting up the field, be able to rush the passer.
So Kabila back out there, going over the middle, and a huge addition to this receiver crew. This time a quick dash up the middle by Quentin Martin. Let's go down to Adam on the field with more on Fleming.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, you mentioned it, Joy. He's going to have to play like that 5-star recruit that everyone in this program believes he is. Jason?
Yeah, Adam, he debated between drafts as that ball is lofted downfield. Running clock has been moving quickly. Speaking of quick, there is a reception on a nice route over the middle. That time made by Amari Evans. They love his speed, and you see it on display there. Florida, a room that is very competitive right now and wide open in terms of competition with the names they've lost. Another throw down the middle, and that one out of the reach and incomplete. Looking for Evans once again.
I don't get it.
He's kind of like
20 years old.
Yep. Still moving and grooving. And we got a flag down.
Very well prepared.
What can we expect from this tight end room in 2024?
Yeah, honestly, I'm so excited for what these guys are going to do. I think Tyler Warren, I've been telling everybody, he's going to be a real standout this next year. You're going to see a lot.
A couple of guys who know the tight end position very well. Penn State, of course, a lineage of superb tight ends. Restocking there again this year. Tyler Warren, body is big and could be very useful. Another player that Kodalnicki pointed out to us among the receivers that have blossomed throughout the spring. Nice catch made here and a burst down the sideline. Harrison Wallace getting involved. Wallace, a guy who struggled with injuries, but if he can stay healthy, he could get on track. Meanwhile, it'll be the white team getting on track first in this spring game as Quentin Martin finds the end zone to break the scoring seal.
Yeah, the difference in that play right there, Quentin Martin is off the ball, Martin being able to just follow what's there. Nice job inside. See how he pressed the center there behind Dawkins, the center, and then bounced it out to the outside, and just well done.
Quentin Martin out of Bell Vernon High School had over 1,000 yards, 16 touchdowns, and is in the end zone today here at Beaver Stadium.
All good. What would be your advice for Drew Allen on how to handle it going into year 2?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. I talked to Drew as much as possible, and Bo as well. And really, at the end of the day, it's about just silencing the noise. Today, I was talking to Liam a bunch this spring, and the creativity is what I'm hearing. I think it's going to be really exciting to just see how he grows within the system for Drew, year 2 of playing, second system. I know when I had that.
All right, thanks, Adam. Thanks, Sean. Well, Sean's brother, Liam, who we mentioned there, already made a catch today. By the way, Ethan Grunkmeyer is now in at QB. First time we have seen the
use him and add him into the flavor of the game makes a big difference. It's not just like you have the same thing over and over. You're going to count on
using different personnel groupings. So we'll see some crazy stuff. Maybe even 2 quarterbacks on the field at the same time. We did that some at Kansas last year.
Yeah, it's interesting for me to watch how some coaches are just able to use different skill sets with guys like Pribula right here with his feet. He'll take advantage of that. He'll do that all season.
You talked about being able to use 2 QBs. Could see it maybe pretty frequently. Pribula fakes the throw there, and they go up the middle on a 4th down try here.
Just to what the expectations are.
Pribula under pressure there, and by the way, when we get to the final 2 minutes of the second quarter and the fourth quarter, we'll go to normal clocks. This time they go back to the ground, and Wallace turning his legs. He's had a good day. Cam Wallace, 26 in white. Offensive line, the spots you're trying to replace are center and both tackles. Pribula will loft this one up into one-on-one coverage, goes out of bounds. Had intentions for Saunders there.
There starts to gel when you get more familiarity.
So Matt, you mentioned you get 15 practices at this stage of time, but walk me through that timeline of when maybe more of the positional battles will start to.
And when they go to camp, they'll have a better idea, and they'll start to work. Like, you won't see as many guys in and out. You get the guys who you think are your best players, and you put them in those positions, and you let them develop. And so it takes a little longer to develop on that side.
They go back to the ground. Nice shifty move there. Putting a foot in the ground was London Montgomery, the Scranton, Pennsylvania native who went to Scranton.
That's what I talk about. You're running with your eyes. Really well done there.
Guy who has some great footwork, was also a basketball player and ran track in high school too. Is Schlaffer, another Pennsylvania.
Got to be able to all be on the same page, and that's easier said than done at times.
Going on a crossing route that time. Once again, it's Schlaffer on the catch.
You get on top of you faster. He has a nice inside-outside move. He's a natural pass rusher.
Carter had 49 tackles last year. That skill set going to translate over the fields all guys who could be in the fold. You might see some shifting and possibly a new starter at linebacker this year. Another completion there.
Nice, good protection. He's pretty aggressive. He has good feet, good balance. Incomplete. That Cooper Cousins, I think he's going to be a good football player for this team.
Into the final 20 seconds of this opening half. Aller in at QB. Aller has a completion inside of the 30 and down the sideline goes Caden Saunders.
Seconds to go. You got to push the ball into the end zone. You don't want to jump it underneath. He wants to throw it into the end zone.
They go right to the end zone and
chance.
just in and out of the hands of Harrison and Wallace.
7 seconds, so the ball's got to come out pretty quick, and it is.
They go to the opposite side, same look, but broken up in the corner of the end zone by A.J. Harris. For Daquan Hardy, Johnny Dixon, as well as the field goal is up and good from Ryan Barker to end the half. So we saw some
For to a bad hair day. See, a defensive guy, they don't care about that stuff.
Let's see how the product holds up in the second half. Hair-wise and field-wise. There's a nice throw from Aller to begin the second half. It was his true freshman year.
I was watching film on him, in the spring, these spring practices. He shows up quite a bit. I like some of the stuff he does. He's pretty natural with his hands, does a nice job.
Donnie Dennis Sutton, who was third team All Big Ten last year. Devon Ellis had a career best 26 tackles last year. Aller able to throw a ball over the middle. A ball that Wallace will want back, just in and out of his hand. Ivy could be one of the returners this year for Penn State, holding on to that ball. So a player that we can see at wide receiver as well. So we still look to see which receivers are kind of stepping
teams. That always comes down to the same thing. Penn State's season will be always talked about, like, how did they beat Ohio State? Did they beat Michigan? And those are the two.
Criticism and judgment based on those games. Michigan not on the regular season schedule this upcoming year with the elimination of divisions, but you do have Washington coming here. You have Ohio State coming here. A key part of that with Ellis coming back. Really experienced guy. They get pressure on Prabula, but he can elude that pressure pretty quickly, in the crowd oohing and awing at Prabula's legs because they know
to win those first 4 games.
Running backs getting involved in the passing game. Quentin Martin able to keep his balance.
Hey, recruiting, talking to donors. What are the things you're working on in the offseason right now to progress the program?
Just keep moving the program forward in all areas. As much support as we can get, going out and getting players that want to come.
VCU this past year, taking over as head coach for Penn State, and good start to lay that foundation this past season, as you see Prabula once again showcasing the legs over on the sideline there. Up and showing out in the Windy City. Getting closer to summer, but first spring football.
I'll tell you, the guy who is just getting phenomenal jumps off the balls, Abdul Carter off.
They embraced it both ways. His teammates have embraced it. Of course, that was something Micah Parsons did, who wore that number 11 before him. As there's a grab made over the middle and a good chunk through the air off several different ways. Might not see a lot of that today, but could be an interesting dynamic of the offense. And looking at the end zone that time for Harrison and Wallace, a flag comes out. Maybe pass interference going to pop different dimensions of how they use the tight ends. They've used them so well around here over the years. Could play into that. Going back to the ground game this time as Adams going to jump in on.
Most tight ends that they bring up now are not very fond of blocking, but he's got a big, he's 6'6", 260 pounds. He has a nice nose for blocking people.
Yo, come on.
This time they go to the sideline, and it's Liam Clifford.
We had him too. They went man down there inside. Everybody matched up.
seen on a few different occasions some of those injuries with a starting spot on the line, and he's definitely up for it. Aller, year 2 as the starting QB, takes the snap here, a quick throw, slightly behind his intended target.
Rough in front of him.
Lots of moments in time and practices still to work out that timing when the summer rolls around. Sanders Sahadak, the kicker there.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Just had an interception a moment ago. That's Amin Vanover. Let's take another look at it.
Yeah, Vanover, he gets pressure, so he dumps it. Vanover does a nice job picking that thing off. The defensive end just stayed home where he needed to be, and then just did a nice job finding the football. Oh, yeah.
So far in this spring game, still time to get another. And Perbula kept that.
Football. And then when the ball's in the air and he picks it off, you got to get on him.
We hadn't talked a ton about Vanover before that interception. He had a sack last year.
Tom Allen's an outstanding football coach, but he's an even better person. He's one of my favorites in the Big Ten.
Just gravitate towards him so easily. As Perbula squeaking through traffic, they saw the resume there, so knows this conference so well, in the new look conference, as he called it. It almost makes it more challenging as the catch is made there by Wallace for defense.
State locker.
Perbula looking at the air, and that was well timed and picked off.
It was a pick here. Unfortunately, it would have been a sack, and they're going to bring that thing back. But a nice play.
So instead of the interception for Dinkins, who has had a fantastic day, Tom Allen still pretty charged up nonetheless.
This is a typical Tom Allen right here. He's genuinely excited about that. Now you're going to see there's going to be a sack right there he would have had, and this ball wouldn't have come out. But Dinkins does a nice job of undercutting that ball, and Tom does a nice job of running. And
merge at that corner spot that they're trying to fill with the losses of the likes of Kalen King, Daquan Hardy, and other names they're trying to replace at a spot that is really a deep.
There's some pieces in place for a good defense.
Right, being able to get pressure on the QB definitely, of course, in turn helps out. Your secondary up the gut and into the end zone. Another rushing touchdown for Quentin Martin, the freshman with a bright future ahead at that running back spot.
Martin's he's 6'1", about 195 to 200 pounds. He's got good quickness, good vision. He'll go where his eyes go. That's a really competitive running back room.
The kicker on transfer from Tulsa.
Teacher of why they're trying to do things, so I think he's got the foundational aspect and the creativity to be able to really make this offense, this team pop.
It's clearly a windy day out here. Tell us about how hard it is as a quarterback. What's it like trying to throw the ball in 30, 40-mile-an-hour winds?
And then when the shots are there, be able to take them and hit them.
Appreciate it, my man. Thanks, bro.
All right, so we're covering the QBs over the last.
He's going to be a dominant player, and is a dominant player. You have to account for him, right? So whenever you're playing him, you're going to have your best players lined up.
Definitely jumped out Abdullah Carter on the defensive end spot. Been really fun to watch today. They'll probably chalk that one up as a sack. Aller well protected here. Just trying to get that timing down.
Kotelnicki he's got a pretty diverse bag of plays, and he can keep them.
And the coaching staff did tell us it's TBD as to who is that #1 target right now by committee. Harrison Wallace, a guy who wants to emerge in that spot, right on cue, makes the catch. And it'll be interesting when that playbook does open up. It'll be interesting to see how they use the tight ends too. Aller going to float it up here. Rapplier was the tight end in the vicinity there, but that pass out of his reach. Neil Davis, the running back, college. Some things to review in the film room moving forward. This the 15th and final spring practice. Meyer will take the de facto sack there.
Yeah, he would have got
on Abdul Carter, who has been superb today defensively. Brunkmeyer gonna float it up. Wanted Logan Cunningham that time of the day here. And it'll start with the flag, and it might be a false start up front.
Offense, number 79, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Addison Penn was
there. Has cut down in the offseason, trying to work on his mobility as well. We know command of the offense and getting to know Kotelnicki as well as new offensive coordinator. They're back the opposite way that time as things kind of broke down. Credit the coverage.
Jace, here's the defense for a guy like Allen. His first year, all you're thinking.
Opened his career with 311 straight passes without an interception. FBS record. He's a guy who has not given.
You know, Katron Allen's a little bumped up, and there's some guys who just we haven't seen today, but they'll be here.
Wallace on the catch on the sideline. He's a guy who we have seen today, though.
Yeah.
Another tricky catch made near the sideline by Rapplier to follow that up. I've seen some good things today out of Cousins.
Oh, yeah.
Aller well protected there, but maybe better coverage on the back end from Jalen Kimber. Another one of those transfers at corner who we talked about. Did they throw a flag? No, they cool. Meanwhile, Aller still working. Under a minute to go, and Rapplier is open and into the end zones. There you go, a final minute simulation that works out for Aller and Rapplier.
He's protected pretty well. The ball's down. He just, I don't know if he just got on top of him fast or.
He's a good blocker for them too, as the extra point connects. 28 seconds to go from Ryan Barker. He'll opt to hand it off. Quentin Martin's had a really good day. He's had a nice burst. Penn State fans getting their first look at the young freshman running back. Bill Carter sliding down to defensive ends. Meanwhile, there was some pressure there. Looked like it should be a sack.
Good coverage again. With 15 seconds left to go.
Looked like Dennis Sutton came around the edge. Prabula again under pressure. Prabula steps up. Nice, accurate dart to a moving target there. And this should be enough for a first down. And just 5 seconds left, though, on the clock.
Nice job by Luke Reynolds making sure of that catch. Oh, that would have been a holding call. Denied Dennis Sutton. Had a great pass rush off that right offensive side.
Look at programs around the country that could have been a beneficiary of that the last few years. Well, Penn State is right up there. Let's go down to Adam, who's alongside James Franklin.
Thanks, Jason. Coach, how do you think your two quarterbacks played today?
Yeah, I think overall well. You know, we stayed healthy today. I thought the quarterbacks distributed the ball well. We got a ton of situations covered, made some plays on the perimeter. The way we broke the teams up, I thought it would be a little bit more competitive.